Hey everyone, it's Relic here, and we are back on the FTOG Quantus server. So you remember in the last episode, we set up the quantum quarry, and we were using the ender pearl generators in order to power that. And I think we'd probably even decided in the last episode that these just aren't really cutting it. They're great, but they're not really providing enough power to have this up and running at full speed. So we need to look at another form of power, and in order to do that, the power that I've got in mind, we are going to have to go through a couple of steps. But let's just have a look in here first. So we've got a few bits and pieces, no diamonds as yet, but this is currently turned off because, as I say, it was burning through power like nobody's business, and plus I was offline. So I didn't really want this running and potentially causing lag for other people on the server. So let's get back up here and I'll show you and talk you through what's going to happen and how we are going to get there. And once again, thinking to myself, why did I make this place so big? So to start off with, then, we've got a new room, and this is far from finished yet, by the way. Literally this afternoon I've just cut this out right into the rock, and I've set myself up a little room, a little bit of architecture craft in here, an absolute ton of quartz just because I really liked this design for what we are going to build. And I'll be doing something with the walls and the ceiling in between this episode and the next episode, but it took me quite a while to get to this point, mainly on the fact of having to collect together so much quartz. But what we're going to do today is we are going to get into some Woot, and we are going to make ourselves a Woot factory. And the reason why we're going to do that is because the power that I eventually want to use, and I'm not sure how quickly we're going to get there, but I want to set myself up a Nether Star Generator because it produces an absolute ton of power, and we can use the Woot farm to provide Nether Stars for us if we can successfully get ourselves a wither captured in its device. So the Woot factory itself, it actually works in tiers pretty much like other items do. So you're going to start off with tier 1, and we are going to have to get it up to tier 4 because that is the tier that's required for the wither boss. And that is going to take a whole bunch of materials and grind just getting the stuff done, which is primarily why I said I'm not sure if we'll get it all done today, but I'm hoping to get at least something up. Probably not running because, as I say, we need it to be to tier 4. And then either in the next episode or the episode after that, I'm hoping to get together with Grok, and he's going to show me a safe way of setting up the Nether Star Generator, because obviously if you've used one of those before, you'll know that you can't have it anywhere where you are going to be near because you get the wither effect just by being near the generator. So cool, let's get on with this then. So I've got a couple of the bits and pieces in this chest if it'll open. If we just go into Woot, just type in Woot, these are all the items that we are going to need as we sort of progress our way through the tiers. And the first item that we need to actually build the factory itself is this mob factory layout. Now, we're not going to be able to go straight into that because we are going to need some other bits and pieces first of all. So we're going to need to grab ourselves some factory casings. They're made with under iron plates. We're going to need one of these Yar hammers, which is how we pretty much make everything in this mod from what I can see. And we're also going to need this die casing, which is a little bit of gold, some obsidian and some iron bars, all of which I've got in this chest. And as I say, finally, this under iron. That is pulverized under iron, which is made with nether bricks iron, this mesh dye, and a bit of cobble. And the mesh dye is just more gold, a bit of more obsidian, and some more iron bars. So yeah, there's quite a few rabbit holes to jump down in order to actually get this started. And we will start off with grabbing out the bits and pieces. In fact, we probably need to just clear up our inventory a little bit. I've got so much stuff in here because obviously clearing out this room. But what we're gonna need, let's just go into, first of all, this pulverized iron. So we need the mesh dye, so we need some gold, a bit of iron and some obsidian, and then we can make that. Now I think, I might be wrong here, but I think that is just a one-use item, but we'll make just one to start off with, just so we can see how it actually works. So we'll grab some iron bars, bit of iron there, gold, and then some obsidian at the top, and that is our mesh dye. And we'll soon see if we just make one of them together, then we can see whether or not we need some nether brick as well. So I think it's just 4 of those together, so that's a bit of nether brick. And then the actual hammer itself, oh yeah, so some sticks, and we are going to need some more nether bricks. So I've got some coal down here. If we quickly grab ourselves a furnace, and that will just save us having to run about all over the place during the course of the episode. And I was kind of hoping, I have got some coal down here. Cool. Right, so we'll pop some coal in there, and got loads of netherrack down here because of my trip to the nether. And we'll just give that a few minutes to smelt up, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I actually went ahead and threw a load of this into our seared furnace just because it will make life a little bit quicker for us, and I'll probably do the same when it comes to the iron, to be honest. I always forget that this is here once I've moved away from it for a while. But anyway, so getting back to our little area up here, and probably take these out now because I don't need, let's just drop that down there for now, and clear some more stuff out of my inventory just so I can pick it all up, just so we don't waste this coal. And like so, I think that's way more than what we're going to need, but let's throw together a bunch of this. Can we do that? Why is that not? Oh, there we go. Right, fine. So we need to turn those into nether bricks first of all. We'll just do that many for now because I don't think, as I say, we're going to need as much as that as probably what I thought originally. But it's fine, we've got loads of that stuff. So let's throw that in there. Let's grab a load of that out. Ah, okay. And I don't know. Let's grab that much for now. So if we can make some more in a while if we need it. And then grab that out. Pop half of that in there. And half of that in there. As I say, because we need to make this. So in order to make the under iron plate, we've got all the bits that we need. We're going to need the die case. Is that not what I've made already? No, that was the mesh die. So we need, getting back to this, so we need the die case. Now we can make that hopefully straight away. We've got enough gold in here to do that. Cool. So let's get that bit made. So we are definitely going to need that. And of course I need some obsidian. Oh dear, right, there we go. One bit of obsidian. And we can get that bit. It's that bit that we need. So one of those. I think we only need one each of any of these bits and pieces. Yeah, and then we're going to need a load of this plate. So we need a plate die as well. So another piece of obsidian. Slab. Now I'm hoping that you can use any slab because those are the slabs that I bought up for this. And another bit of gold and another bit of obsidian. So let's just see if we can now do that. It wasn't that, was it? Was it that? It was this, right? Oh, no, it wasn't that. What am I doing? It was that I need. Right, so let's move that in. You can use that. Cool. So we've got that. And we'll just grab out a few pieces of that and let the rest just cook away. And hopefully now we can get the 4 plates at least that we need to make this. And there we go, 4 plates required. And then finally we should just be able to put this together And then finally this. Excellent. Right, so we've got ourselves the mob factory layout. Now, my understanding is that we put this is why I've left a hole in the middle of here, like so. Cool. And it will give us a little layout of exactly how this works. And then you can't point at them and it doesn't tell you what they are, but I know one of these is the controller. We'll have a look in the JEI, but these are these blocks, so the actual factory blocks. So we've got that's the mob controller that's at the top, and there was another piece as well, the actual mob factory itself. Cool. So we need a load of these blocks. Now that's just factory casings and bone. Now I'm hoping that this doesn't consume the factory casing, although it might do because we've only got 3 left there at the moment. So in fact, let's just work out how many of these we are going to need. So 1, 2, 3. So it's 3 on each row, 5 rows. So it's 15, 16 for that one there as well. And I think it's the same 3 on each row for the red. So, and there's 2 of those up there. So that's 17 of the red. So 16 of the grey, and 17 of the red. So let's have a look. Does this consume? Yes, it does consume the casing. Well, that is a little bit unfortunate. And let's have a quick look at the red as well. And that requires zombie flesh and some more factory casings. Okay, so it looks as though I am going to need a load more of the iron, which is cool. I'm going to go away. I'm going to make a load of those because that is just a crafting job. And I'll probably, let's just see how difficult it is to make these bits and pieces. This again is just throwing stuff together in crafting. So if you want to see this, you can just look in JEI and you can see what the recipes are. But it's going to be pretty boring if you just watch me standing doing all of the crafting. So I'm going to get these bits crafted and I'll be back in a minute. Okay, so we are back and quite a while later actually, and a lot of crafting. Really can't underestimate the amount of time that this takes because you do need a lot of bits and quite a lot of it is repetitive. And you will need to make sure that you've got a good access to a few diamonds, some emeralds and a couple of Nether Stars as well for the bits and pieces that you need. But like I said, all of the stuff is there if you just put in Woot, and it's pretty easy to follow through. Once you've got the factory layout, you can see all the bits that you need, and yeah, you can just craft them up, but yeah, it does take quite a while. So the best way I think to be able to do this is we'll do the tier 1 first of all, but we won't put the end caps on because I'm just going to show you really quickly before I do it. If you right click on the layout, it will change it and show you the tier 2. And you'll notice that the base blocks down here stay the same, except rather than an end cap there, it's now got another red block and we've got yellow end caps. And then if we click onto tier 3, it will change. So we've got some more blocks up here, and then we've got these end caps up here, and then finally it goes like so. It's basically best, I think, to start off with a tier 1 and to say work your way up from there. So I've got all the bits and pieces hopefully that I need in here. So we'll grab out first of all the grey and the red, and let's just get those pops down. And as I say, this should be relatively straightforward. I know these are famous last words because I've said it before and things have gone particularly wrong. But, and that looks like it may well be a spot where it's gone wrong already, because I think that was actually meant to be a red block just there. Cool. Grab that back out again, and I'm fairly sure that I'm going to make this mistake on any number of occasions as we go through the process. And then want a red block down here, followed by a grey block on top of it, and so on and so forth. So I'm just going to go through, I'm going to get this set up, And as I say, I've got in my bag, I've got all the bits and pieces that I need. So I'm going to get all the colours set up. Then we'll put the last bits on together. And we'll move on to the next bit of the process. So I'll see you in a minute. Okay, so some considerable time later, and we are back. And we have done a lot of crafting. And yeah, don't underestimate how long this is going to take, because you do need a lot of bits. A lot of it is quite repetitive. And you're going to need some diamonds, some emeralds, and some nether stars as well. And plus a fair bit of obsidian. So there is quite a lot of stuff. But as I say, all of the items, they're here. And you can follow it through GAEI. And once you've got the factory outline block, whatever it's called, the layout block, then it is pretty easy. It's just literally following the pattern. And we've got the last little bits to put on. So we've got the caps to pop those on, and hopefully they don't. In fact, if I haven't got my squares on, let's just turn those on just for a second, because I don't think that they actually constitute a spawnable space. Let's just double check. No, they don't, which is really good. Right, so that's all of those, and then the final pieces here are just the mob controller and whatever I've done with the other piece. Now I think it must be in my bag, which it is. Good. So just get that in there. So that one needs to go on first. So that can go just there. And then finally the mob controller. Now this will form a multi-block, but first of all we need to put a mob into here, and we've got to go and get that. Now, in order to get that, you need one last item, and that is this, the mob prism. Now, this requires one of these mob prism frames, which is just a few bits and pieces, the eye of ender, a prism die, which is pretty easy to make, and some more iron. And then you just need pretty much a die of every colour there, and then some more iron again. Now, I've gathered together a bunch of, let's just put a few of these bits and pieces away that we don't need right at the moment. And let's just grab out the dies. And I think that's all of them. I can't see another one. Oh, there's the orange one is in there as well. And then we've got the prism as well. So hopefully we should just be able to pop that together. Like so, that was the right one, wasn't it? Good, right, so there is our mob prism. And now for the fun part, we need to go and grab ourselves a wither. Now, there is an area set up in the nether for doing this. So I'm going to need to go and grab some soul sand. Now, I'm really hoping I know I've got the wither skulls, but I'm not 100% sure that I've got the soul sand. Oh, I have. Right, so we grab that. And I'll grab the wither skulls that we need as well. And hopefully there's one in there. Alright, so okay, there's 3 there. Good. And I think what we'll do, just to be extra safe, if I can find a chest that's a little bit empty. So we're not going to need any more of these bits just for now. Is just to make sure that we are absolutely not going to end up in a situation like we ended before. In fact, let's just put all of that in there for now. And hopefully, yeah, that should be it. I'll put something in there that I didn't want to put in there. I know that, yeah, my angel ring. I certainly don't want to put that in there for now. And the wither skulls. Cool, right, so I'm going to get myself to the nether. And I'll see you when I'm there. Okay, so here we are in the nether. And I've come, first of all, I wanted to get some of the wither skulls. And this is a pretty cool setup. I'm not even sure now who set it up, but I'm fairly sure Technojock has something to do with it. It certainly has something to do with this really cool obsidian cleaver. And you can see it's got beheading 7 on there. So you're pretty much always guaranteed to get a skull. So I've got all the bits that I need. And this is actually the second time that I've recorded this. Let's get out of the way of the incoming cast. The first time was an absolute disaster, and I'm going to show you in a minute why that was. But first of all, let's just get over here. I always worry a little bit getting up here, just in case there's any creepers up here, because I've been caught by surprise by those a couple of times now. But this is the wither area over here, and this has been completely rebuilt. The first time I did this, I did it wrong, and the wither escaped. And yeah, it was the mother of all nightmares. It actually got all the way out into the main area, knocked out a few portals, and it took quite a while to kill. Unfortunately, there was nobody else out about, nobody online. I couldn't get hold of anybody in Discord. So yeah, it turned into a little bit of a disaster. So yeah, I learned something new as well, and that is that you can actually spawn the wither laying down on its side like this. So just put the last head in, and that's how we get it into the bedrock. Now I have to just be really careful here for its initial blast, because I don't want to get withered at the very start of this. So we'll let it do that. There we go. And now what I want to do is I just want to get that very first hit on this, and I want to make sure I can capture it. Now I am told that the hitbox is a little bit funny, and I've still not got... Yes, right, got it. Excellent. So yeah, I was told it was a little bit derpy getting hold of the hitbox. So now what we should be able to do is get this guy pretty good, and hopefully before I wither away I can get this sorted. And I already kind of knew that this was going to happen. Let's just quickly have something to eat, and hopefully we can avoid death. And I'm not sure where the star went. That's fine. So let's just get ourselves over to the safe area really quickly, and please don't die. Right, there we go. So just wait this out, and we've got what we need. So I will meet you back at the base. Okay, so back at the Woot farm. So we've got the prison that we know. Now this is the part where I really hope that this works. So we'll pop that in there, and there we go. So it's turned into the multi-block structure, as you can see. So yeah, it's all good. And what we are going to have to do, we need to be able to get down inside of this. So for now, and I'll tell you why in a minute, I'm just going to have to dig a couple down. So we need to get underneath the controller, because this thing does need power. We can take this out now because we don't need this anymore. Where that red dot is where the power is going to go. Now I've grabbed the power cell from the quantum quarry, and I'm just going to pop that in there. So that is now linked up, and we should hopefully... Yeah, so that is actually using some power. So in fact, let's just make sure that this is lit up down here, because that would be a real pain if we didn't do that. And I don't seem to be able to find anything actually to light this up currently. Where's it gone? There we go. Right, so we've got our trusty hammer. So we've got that. We can light that up. We can jump out here. We'll neaten that up, perhaps with the trapdoor or something. But the last thing that we're going to need is another chest. So if we grab some of the wood out of here, and let's just try to get rid of as much of this as possible. Quite a few drops actually from the wither skeleton spawner in the nether, which is all pretty good. And I'm just going to need some iron, which I thought I had in one of these, but I'm guessing we'll do a gold chest for now, because that's still got pretty good capacity. So we will grab ourselves a vanilla chest first of all, and then just surround that with gold. And it wasn't as easy as that. I thought it was. Okay, well, I'll tell you what, for now, let's just go with a normal chest. And we can not fall down that hole. Pop that in front. And now, hopefully, that's got power, which it has. And that is going to cost a lot of RF. So it's going to be quite slow, but basically at the moment, every 320 ticks, that is going to spawn a wither, and we'll get another star. So there's one already. So that is pretty cool. So we can just leave that running, and then we've got a good supply of nether stars without any of the danger that we've just had. Now, there are some other items that we can make to make this a little bit better, and I'm not going to make those now. I'm going to do them in between episodes because it's just more crafting. But if we go back in and put Woot in, it's these items, these upgrades. So we've got rate upgrades, so it spawns quicker. So you've got every 160 ticks, 80 ticks, and 40 ticks. Then you've got looting upgrades, XP upgrades, mass upgrades, which spawns more mobs, so you get more per time, and so on and so forth. And they're tiered, so you have to build all three of them. You can't just go, right, I'll build the third upgrade. You have to build all three. But yeah, they're not too bad, actually. A bit of quartz, but you need the enchanted books as well. So we're going to have to do a bit of work to get those. So yeah, that is going to be it for this episode. Let's just have, before we sign off, so we've got 2 nether stars currently, so we are going to want to get those upgrades in there, and definitely as we get this better source of power, we can start linking everything up and making our quantum quarry run faster and making this run faster as well. But as I say, for now, that is going to be it. So I hope you've liked the video. If you have, remember to hit that thumbs up button. Always appreciated. And thanks ever so much for watching, guys. And until next time, take care, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.